Broadside Books and Harper Audio present Lies My Liberal Teacher Told Me, Debunking the False Narratives Defining America's School Curricula, by Wilfred Reilly, read by Mirron Willis. To Jean Marie Ward and Snoo. It ain't what you don't know that gets you in trouble, youngster. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so. Attributed to Mark Twain. Introduction. We often, bizarrely, hear the claim that American history is taught mostly from the political right, and that it presents our nation as bucolic. In fact, many of the best-selling social science books of the past few decades focus on the idea that the real history of the United States was a virtually unending bloodbath. A short list of influential texts of this kind would have to include Marxist Howard Zinn's A People's History of the United States, D. Brown's Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee, An Indian History of the American West, the New York Times originating recent bestseller, The 1619 Project, and, well, James W. Loewen's 1995 book, Lies My Teacher Told Me. This entire body of work draws from and ties into the modern American obsession with racism. A worthy topic of study, to be sure. But at some point, the obvious needs to be said. The argument that the American intellectual class loves the country too much and consistently slants its work product to the right is insane. In reality, the contemporary U.S. national media and academic professorate lean roughly 93% to the left, and this has been the case for some time. Within the secondary schools, two popular curricula currently in use come from the 1619 Project and Dr. Zinn himself. If the old myth beloved of the Manifest Destiny fan club was that America and the West could do no wrong, the new hotness is that every wrong is uniquely Western and American. To read many leftist scholars, you'd come away thinking non-Western slavery was basically a fun vacation. The opposite is true. The primary thing that was unique about slavery in the early modern West was that the nations of contemporary Europe and North America set out to end the practice globally, and largely did so. British ocean-going fleets blockaded slaving ports around the world, sinking at least 1,600 slave ships and freeing 150,000 slaves, in what was explicitly an attempt to minimize or end the so-called peculiar institution. Notably, in sizable nations of color, where trod only briefly the Western galosh, slavery still often endures. The practice exists rather openly in Mauritania, and slavery/chattel serfdom was only banned in Saudi Arabia in the 1960s. The same historical myopia afflicts representations of European colonialism. Historical European colonialism, although oddly not Ottoman, Mongol, Arab Muslim, or Moorish colonialism, is today almost invariably described as an unmitigated evil. Meanwhile, the facts are more complicated. There is little, if any, evidence that states that were never colonized, think Liberia, Ethiopia, and Thailand, are on average better off today than those that were. India, Nigeria, Indonesia, Kenya, etc. I am clearly not arguing that these bloody wars of conquest were free of hypocrisy, and what we would today consider injustice. But this brings us to a key point, which serves as something of a central theme for this book. Modern American morality is an aberration. If you don't understand that, then history will be nothing but one long shock to our naive systems.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?